Da da da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never met me before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. I have just been flaking out in my office chair, trying to take in a little bit of relaxation for myself, right? A little bit for myself, but at the same time, taking in a few lessons and being selective, right? Because I recognize what I think about is realized quite often. And so I don't want to fill my head up with gook that I'm going to put any serious thought to in just plain old exhaustion. Because, like I said, I'm just coming home from work, a little bit of rat woman. There we go. I actually even slapped on a little bit of lipstick today because I came on and it was just cream color straight across the board. No color to me at all. You wouldn't even seen me except, well, the black shirt and the pink bangs, right? So I said, oh, Cindy, slap some lipstick on, right? Let's go live. Let's burn off that last of that energy. And actually, in thought of this morning before I went to work, I was going to come live. And I said, you know what? I have been in my head. I took a few lessons today and it touched on a subject that I hadn't thought about for a long time. And I ended up dwelling on it, right? And so I'm grateful for my job that takes me away from what I can easily delve into, right? Grateful for that job. We should all be working in this process. We'd all, right? And I'm not saying like at a job or anything, but in that busyness in our lives. It's not necessarily that we should be going 100 miles an hour and stressing ourselves out, but sometimes staying active and staying busy, it does help to keep your mind off of things. This morning also, I worked on my 54 powerful words, right? So we've got just over a third of the deck not done now. I am happy and pleased with that. We're going to give them a little bit of a shuffle and we'll see what comes out. Just pull a single card, right? How about a good night card? A card that will reflect a little bit in how our day might pull out tomorrow, or a little bit of a tip, right? That might help us in what might be coming tomorrow. I don't know. Talk to us, right? So what this is just 54 powerful words. We randomly picked them last year. It took me a whole year because we spent a whole week in each of these words, right? And it served me well. Then I went on a trip, and whatever happened, I fell back, and I admit that I failed. And it was a pretty hard fail for me because I've been at this for 10 years now here on YouTube, and I have always been pretty consistent. And not only pretty consistent, I have been consistently more consistent. And then when I came home from my holidays this year, I had a bit of a crash. But it was a kind of an interesting crash because I was still trying, right? You know, sometime when you're treading water or you're just running, but you're just not doing anything or going anywheres. That was a different kind of busy, right? I wasn't getting anything done. I was preoccupying my mind because nothing was arising in it to set me in any direction. So I was just kind of hitting any direction that I could. Just keep moving, Cindy. Never give up. Keep moving forward. And that's what I did. And just before Christmas, I just felt that, you're right, we all know the Christmas frenzy. So I was feeling bad already because I want to, right, come to the table. And I knew already if I had gotten the cards ready, I could just be in the words every day. And that's right. That's easy for me, right? It all comes from my experience, and whether that experience is from my childhood, teenage years, or my adulthood, or any one of those relationships that I had, if it was one of those experiences that I had in one of my many, many jobs in my lifetime, right? That all of these are possibly a gift that somebody else can use, right? And in picking the 54 powerful words, they really did ground me last year, didn't they? I showed up pretty consistent with these words, and I really took it serious, and I delved into these words, and each word we did for a week. You can go back, all those videos are back there. If you go to my main page, you'll find them, right? And it's pretty incredible that yesterday or even the day before, I knew right away, let's just get back into the cards. Whether the cards are ready or not, we are ready, right? And we don't need the extra. We got the words, right? We can get perspectives from just a word, even in an experience today, right? We can use the word. But we're going to pick a word, and we're going to consistently, Monday to Friday, we are going to pick a word. Unless I'm uploading a video. If I upload a video, then that will be a special day off for me where I will treat myself to being social media free. I won't go on my phone. I won't go online. Oh, maybe I will, right? Right? My new addiction, the the healthy addiction that took me away from that most unhealthy, deadly, in fact, right? So easily could have taken me down, taken me out, right? And I do believe that's exactly what would have happened. I don't know what it would have looked like. It would have looked pretty bad. And I don't know how many people I would have taken down in that, because somebody would have had to cover my butt, right? And I never give up. And I would have found a way, and I would have made others suffer for my own addiction. And that addiction was gambling, right? So I was a gambling addict, and YouTube took me away from that addiction. I was busy in that addiction, and it got me nothing except my life in a great big hole. Grateful for the little miracles that come across our paths, right? And it is so easily in our choices. 100%. I chose YouTube over gambling, right? And might not think that's anything huge, but it was. It was so huge. It was so huge in my life, right? But I'm not here tonight to talk about that. We're going to pick a card, burn up the last of that energy. I'm going into my weekend, and I won't be here tomorrow. I'm offline tomorrow. Saturdays I come totally offline, and it's been helping too, right? We adapt, we conquer, we make small adjustments along the way. We're creative in what we do. Yes, we don't stop, we keep going, we never give up, right? But we cheat ourselves with that consideration, right? I felt bad for making myself bad because I couldn't keep up. And the answer was to cut back. That momentum, it hasn't changed, because sometimes the momentum is in the quality and not in the quantity, right? And that's truth, right? You can sell 7 days of hoo-ha and spend 7 hours with your audience, or you can spend 7 minutes of magnificence, and anybody and everybody, right, benefits from that. And you don't need to exhaust yourself. And I exhausted myself. And that's a lesson I had to learn. And that was all in the process of treating myself a little bit better than I was, right? I was feeding off myself. And yes, there was a bag and there was a prize at the end of that. And there still is, and there still can be, but it's just in that creativity, right? So we're back at the cards. And that will ease up that stress. That will ease up that it's not negative talk. Maybe it is, right? But it's the feeling of that negative talk. It's just feeling bad, right? Feeling like I'm not showing up. But if you look at other people on these forums, right? Serving up similar content, maybe not the same, right? I would have to look in just in the comparison. At least I'm showing up, right? At least I'm showing up. And there are others who are just not showing up, right? And I have to be content with that, understanding that I can only control my own movement, my own choices. And that's each one of us, right? Each one of us. Okay, you guys, let's pick the card before I. Okay, just a few minutes. The card that I pulled, just a perspective, right? You may have your own perspective on the word, and there could be many, many perspectives in one word. You can look at it from emotional level. You can look at it mentally and realistically, right? You can look at it in somebody else's perspective or somebody else's a story. You can look at it in your adventures in your life, right? In the experiences that we have. These powerful words, they sit all over the place. And yet, right, they could be sitting in more places 100%. Okay, they're not all there, that they're all in the right direction. So let's pick this card. Respect. This is a good one. And it's actually one that I've been kind of wearing blinders to quite often because in my life, quite often, I've given that respect to those who might not have deserved it, right? In that being the authority, being the boss, right? You pay respect. My relationship with my parents, right? Being brought up to respect thy mother and father, right? And for those of you who've been hanging out with me for any length of time, you know that I had difficulties with my mother. I come from a very dynamic family, right? We got narcissists, we got borderlines, we got empaths, right? We probably got others, but I'm right. This is my experience, right? So I should be focusing on myself. And these are only characters that I recognize because I rubbed shoulders consistently throughout my entire life with, right? And so when you have this idea that's been drilled into you, right, through Sunday school, parents, grandparents, teachers, other kids, right? Respect thy mother and father. I had no choice. I respected that. And a lot of that respect, it wasn't respect, it was servitude. It was, right? I had to for my own safety, right? For my own well being, for the roof over my head, for the food that was coming across the table to me, right? For the peace of mind, for the peace of my soul, and the peace of my own physicality, right? That respect had to be divvied out. And it was divvied out, but it was divvied out in a way that it was actually presented as respect because I didn't have a choice. That was the way I was brought up. That was the truth. That was the way it was, right? Now, in the position that I am now with the lessons and the tools along my tool belt, right? And it took a lot of delving into a lot of that. Here, look at my coffee cup, you guys. The darkest nights produce the brightest stars, right? We have conversations. And it's not conversations to trigger, but it's conversations because if you're like me, this is in the past. This is done. This is right. This isn't anything that we can recoup. We can't pick it up. In my case, both my parents are gone now, right? My parents my parents are gone now. I loved and respected my father. Like I truly that real idea of love and respect because I could see how he practiced mindset himself, right? So the kindness, the way he couldn't lie, right? How affectionate and loving he was. How he always made sure in the end that there was food on the table, even if it was a bowl of Kraft dinner, or if it was butter sandwiches for lunch at school, right? I respected my father for that. My father had a lot of difficulties too, right? Again, I was a compulsive gambler and I picked that up. Not saying that I picked it up from my father, but in my need for my own addiction, for my own coping mechanisms, I searched out what felt good to me, and I felt good with my father, right? And he always seemed to feel good with the gambling. It wasn't until after I woke up to some ideas to recognize, and in my own experience of gambling, to recognize that that must have been an absolute horror for him, right? I remember him losing his car in a poker game, right? He had to borrow a pickup truck with a family of six and go up north to British Columbia to go spend Christmas with my aunt. And me and one of my sisters had to sit in the back of the pickup at like minus 30 or minus 40 below, that these blankets stuck to our face. And when we peeled it off, our skin came off our faces like that. How traumatic for you that he had to drive like 6 hours out there to get up north because he was determined to keep a promise to his sister and to listen in the back of the pickup, his two daughters crying and begging and pleading to come inside the front of the truck where my mom and dad and my other two sisters were not understanding, right? It's not like they could have put the baby in the back of the truck and right? Maybe my mother could have gotten back there and took her turn. But no, that wasn't the case. And she had the baby to take care of, right? But that respect, right? And I've told stories, right? And it's stories. I've I've shared my experiences in those dynamic relationships in my family, right? And where I'm sitting right now, there's very much a lack of respect, and yet I gave that respect. Not all respect is deserved. That's 100%. And we've had this conversation many times when we talk about the difference between authority and leadership, right? Authority is just dictating out, letting other people do the job, not doing the work themselves, right? Not willing to do something that they're asking somebody else to do, right? We should all be willing. I work harder than anybody, right? And yet, today I was having a conversation with a small group, and they thought they were all working by themselves. And it's just that lack of recognition of what people bring to the table, right? Or it's just that idea that somebody has to up somebody else, right? I have no idea, but there is a difference in that. But the way we settle conversations, the way that, right? I was really impressed. I felt heard. I felt heard in that conversation. I felt like I was a part of that conversation when in actuality, quite often, it's just dictated to me as fact. And even though I know like this, right? Because of that respect, because of that authority, you just go about and you do, right? I'm so grateful to have a job that allows me to be myself, that gives me that respect, right? Even though I'm not boss, right? I understand. I am. I know you're there, Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Hello. Happy New Year, dear. Happy New Year, Nancy. This is one of my moderators on my Sunday night chatters live. If you guys ever want to come in on Sunday night, it's a total different live show. This is my podcast, but Sunday night I have another show. And we've had that show going on, I think, about 7 years. 7 years now. Every Sunday. I don't think we've missed a Sunday, have we? Have we, Nancy? I think maybe I almost missed a Sunday, and then I got about 20 emails saying, Sydney, we're all waiting for you. And it was because I accidentally hit the private when I went live. And so I wasn't even public. I ended up talking for like a half an hour before anybody messaged me, right? Because they know sometimes I'm consistently 5 or 10 minutes late. That was so funny. What's going on now? Oh my goodness. It's not a happy new year. What's going on now, Nancy? It has to be a good year. It has to be much better than last year. We have to be optimistic. What you think about is realized, Nancy, right? Think of all the good things that happened to you this year, right? Yes, there were crappy things that happened to you this past year, but there were a lot of good things, weren't there? You got some new kids, you got the new layout, right? You got your house all taken care of. And that doesn't mean that there won't be more problems down the road. But sometimes we spend too much time concentrating on what's going wrong and we don't recognize what's going right. I've been doing it quite a bit this week. I actually just, pointed it out to my sister who's not been feeling good and, right, things aren't going well. And I said, you got to think of all the good things. And I mentioned off a few good things and I was just like, oh, you're right, right? Because that's what life is, a mix of good and bad. Oh, the orange monster still driving you crazy. The orange monster. She's talking about Donald Trump. I just learned that terminology last week, orange monster. Yeah, I just learned that terminology. Oh my goodness. We will see. Do not jump the gun, Nancy. Please do not jump the gun. Because what you think about is realized, right? I bet you, right? You're going to be okay, Nancy, 100%. You might even be better than okay, right? Give the guy a chance to mess up. Like I said, January 20th, you said, right? He's going to be president on January 20th. Let's give him till the 21st. Give him one day. If he's the person that you think he is, Nancy, you know he'll mess up in his first day. Isn't that funny? Oh my goodness. That's my Nancy, right? It takes all kinds to make the world, you know? And I could say, Nancy, stay positive. But sometimes when you get kicked, and in that moment of scariness, right? That quite often that we can fall backwards. Oh my goodness, right? I had a panic tonight. Nancy, listen to this one. Had to pay my staff charges. If you guys want to come hang out Sunday night, I got my staff charges. We always have a show and tell on payday. You guys get to see what I bought. I bought a few cool things this payday. You'll get to see them on Sunday. So if you want to hang out, but tonight, Nancy, oh my goodness, I went to pay my staff charges and I went into my purse and my wallet wasn't there. I had just come back from the coffee shop and I had bought coffee for our coffee and hot chocolate for me and one of the girls that I work with. And I couldn't find my wallet, right? And I went, oh my goodness, right? So I ran into the lunchroom, checked in my coat pockets and stuff, and I couldn't find. So I went back up to the cash area and I just stripped that whole cash area down to see if I could find my wallet. And I just said, oh my goodness, I just got paid. So and I'm in a panic. I'm trying to stay calm, but I'm in a little bit of a panic because it was payday today. All that money's in my account. My bank card's in there. They could just go tap, 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 tap. And right, that paycheck would be gone in no time. I had gift cards from Christmas in there, and I had to pay my staff charges. Oh my goodness. So I ran back I said, I gotta go see if my change purse is there. And I ran out of the store. And while I was running to the coffee shop, I went into my bank account on my phone and I just transferred all my funds into different accounts and stuff. And just in case, right? I was lucky it was all there. And then I got into the coffee shop convinced because sometimes I do leave my things there, especially my granny wagon. And sometimes I don't even recognize until I leave work at night, the granny wagon's missing. And then I know I've left it at the coffee shop and they always hold it for me, right? At least once a month, I leave my granny wagon at it's those wagons that people put the groceries in when they go to the grocery stores. I got one of those little cloth ones on a metal frame. They're great. Some university student gave me the idea and I've been using it ever since. I've been like doing it for like 2 or 3 years now. It's just, I love it. But they didn't have my change purse. My heart slumped. Right? I had money in there. I had everything in there. My driver's like everything. Got back to work. Said one more time. So I backstepped everywhere. So I was in the store, even in the bathroom, and I just checked everywhere. It was gone. I came up to the counter and I put my head on my shoulder and I looked down. There was my wallet sitting right there on the shelf. But I went and put myself in an absolute frazzle. Like you should have seen me. You would have just laughed at me because I was going 100 miles an hour and I was going so fast that I wasn't being thorough because it was right there. I could easily see it, right? I just went like this on the counter, like, oh my goodness, to do this. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy now. I'm so happy now. But I'll be very hyper vigilant about my wallet for the next couple of months. So I won't be worried about, well, I will be worried about my wallet. That's why I'll be double checking and checking over again to see if my wallet is in my purse because we are buckling down, you guys. We're going to have a car this spring, right? We're buckling right down. I've already started saving. I'm already starting saving and I got to throw a little bit more, right, into my savings. And we're just going to make this happen, right? Could have done it last year, But in booking all my camping spots and everything, I wasn't too sure whether I'd make it or not. And this year, I think I can do it, right? I'm going to put $100 every paycheck away. I got income tax returns. I got extra paychecks on a couple of those months that I'm working. I have other little things on the side, and we'll be okay. And I'm going to keep adding to the jar. We'll have that going on too, right? It's going to be great. We're going to be on the road permanently. Mind you, we won't be camping until July at least because I don't like ticks, right? And I'm so carefree when I go out into the fields. It's nothing for me just to walk through the tall grass all day long. I don't even think of bugs, right? In fact, if I saw bugs, I would probably be very happy to have a little bit of company with the insects and stuff, right? And but when I got home and I saw those things and I can't get them off, right? Well, you can get them off, but you don't even want to touch them. And not only that, you don't want to kill them. And now, in order to get them off, you have to kill them, right? So I don't like doing ticks. So we won't be on our first camping trip till July, but we have July, August, and September, and we'll be able to go every set of days off all through all three of those months. Maybe in Ontario, we'll do that one in September, late in September, so we just can keep that party going, right? That's what we're going to do this year. I'm not going to do one singular big trip like I did last year, but having the vehicle will have content all summer and all fall, right? And yeah, that will make me happy, right? And that will also move me forward in accomplishing some of those goals that I set up uh, for me this year. Yes, I put big goals ahead for the year, right? I did. We're doing the teeth next month. Oh my goodness, that's the big one. And then after I get that one done, we'll do the new desktop computer. We'll get that taken care of. And then after that, we're full force. We're going to just hack away at the car. And I'm going to do both of it at the same time, right? I keep looking down because I got my big jar right here. I haven't put it away yet, right? So, yeah, because I just added some more cash to it. And we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to just make that happen. And then, right, there may be some surprises along the way because I'm in discussions. And I think these are some good ideas that might not only serve me, but help my sisters and help all of us, right, to feel a little bit more comfortable that we are, right, making a little bit of movement for ourselves when in the moment we might feel like we're trapped with what we have, or, right? Just be grateful for what you've got when it's in our choices, right? Make the smallest of choices, make a little bit of movement. I'm coming into Nancy's comments here. Um, did I find what? Oh my goodness, your new locomotive. How much did you spend, Nancy? Let me have a sip of my coffee. How much did you spend on that locomotive? Send me a couple of names of a couple of brands of locomotives that you would use on your layout, Nancy, because those trains come into our store all the time. The past two auctions that we had two full sets of trains on them for like the 1920s. They had cords, the old cords with the fabric wrapped around them. They were so old, right? And they were tin toys and they were real trains and they had the gears and the mechanisms, right? Like the remotes and all that, but they were all Bakelite, so they were really old. Those kinds that they put around the trees. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it would have freaked me out. Oh my goodness, that would have set me up. But I've been having those scares. I've been having those pushbacks, but I don't stop, right? I just keep going. I just hack away and it just breaks through and crumbles apart and it just works out the way I need it to work out, right? So I it works for me. I'm just going to carry on with that. Um oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, almost $300, Nancy? For one train, for one car, or for a whole train set? I think she said one train car. Let me see. A locomotive. Oh, yeah. The locomotives, though, are the most expensive pieces, right? Where's my phone? It might be plugged in notes right here. Nancy's showing me a picture of her new train, you guys. So anybody from Chatters who wants to see. Oh, I didn't get it yet, Nancy. Oh, where are you? Let's just see. There you are. Gotta give me a second. My phone's running slow. I'll try this again. There you are. Okay, Nancy sent me. Wow, Nancy, that's huge. Nancy's new train car. That's huge, Nancy. That looks like it's a foot and a half. How big is it? Wow. What is a POA? Nancy, what's a POA? Personal operator assistance? Look at the PC, the pics. I said, yeah, yeah, it's beautiful, Nancy. I absolutely love it. 4664? I don't understand that. But that's huge, Nancy. That's really big. But you didn't run that over Christmas, did you? You just got that? And is that to scale, Nancy? That's what it would have been on the big trains? Oh, it's on the way. Oh my goodness. So you got Valentine's Day coming up. Are you going to do a Valentine's Day layout? That would be pretty cool. How did everybody like the presentation that you did on Christmas Eve, Nancy? Can you quickly let us know what the presentation was like? Did everybody enjoy themselves? Were they impressed with your layout? Everybody did. Oh, awesome. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And your video was awesome. I love your graphics. You're really good at the editing graphics on your videos that you do on your trains. Hmm. Awesome. See, Nancy, you're all cheered up again. Right? That's what happens when you come in to hang out with me. Yeah, you sounded pretty scary when you first walked into my live tonight. I went, oh my goodness, what happened to Nancy's life today? And oh my goodness, same old, same old. That Mr. Orange face. Orange, no, Orange Monster. Means power of a. Wow. Nancy, we have to have a talk about that because you're a pretty smart woman. You should be able to handle Your own money? Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So she's like your money manager almost. And if something happens to you, she'll be taking care of all the arrangements. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. Well, that's amazing that you have somebody on your side, right? That's amazing you have somebody on your side. And thank you for letting me know. I had no idea what you were talking about there. My mother was the power of attorney for my father because of my father's congenital heart disease. They had to make sure that she was a power of attorney, that she could clear accounts and everything like right away if he should pass away or if he got sick, that she could make all those decisions for him, right? She was legally also like what you have. And that's how come I knew power of attorney. But I said, oh, my father was so sick, right? Nancy's smart, right? Nancy's a little gimpy like the rest of us, but she's super smart. What does she need a power of attorney for? I'm thinking, right? Yeah. Sometimes it is in those necessities, isn't it? That's that's great. Yeah, I thought so, Nancy. I thought so. Or you wouldn't have that beautiful locomotive. Oh my goodness. Was it an impulse buy, Nancy? Was it an impulse buy? Or were you eyeballing it for a while? But as power attorney, Nancy, you know she has the right for everything, right? She represents you. Anybody with a power of attorney for you represents you. They are you in the eye of the law. Oh, oh, well, I'm so happy for you, Nancy. I'm so happy for you. Right? You should be smiling right now. Play that locomotive, right? Dress that layout for every holiday that's coming in the next year. Don't even worry what the orange faced man is doing. You just work yourself up with that. Don't work yourself up. Why are you stressing over something that, number one, you don't have any control over, right? I mean, you could do the picket sign and everything, but you can't do anything about it. And you're just eating yourself up and making yourself miserable when you could be playing with the babies or you could be, right, working on the layout. Those diamond arts. Wow, I couldn't believe you did that for your layout. Those looked amazing, Nancy. Really loved those. Looked really good in your video because they were all sparkly and stuff. Oh, okay. I know, but he hasn't done anything yet. Wait and see. And remember, you're not the only person in a chair, Nancy. You're not the only person in a chair. There are hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people in chairs right now or on disability and just in, right? Not the same as you, but in similar situations. You got backup, right? And when it's ready for you guys to go with those picket signs and, right? Oh my goodness, I would hate to, I feel bad for President Trump, right? If Nancy should have to be on him, because Nancy would be like a squirrel monkey, chair or not, Nancy would be all over him, right? And at that point, and that's when you do it, like right now, be happy, Nancy. Look forward to your train coming in, do some smiling, right? Find a new hobby, right? Maybe there's something new that you want to try. I know you switch up those hobbies every once in a while. You would never do that. He couldn't do that, right? We'd just be like the Ukraine and we would defend ourselves. And we're just as capable, and the rest of the world would defend us, right? We are good neighbors, Nancy. We are good neighbors. And we don't all have to agree, right? But it is those common values, and it is scary. I recognize it is scary, but it's not happening in this moment. And even if he says that's it, this is what we're going to do, well, it's still going to have to go through Parliament, isn't it? Is that what you call yours? No, you guys call it Congress, don't you? Yeah, we call it Parliament. You guys call it Congress. I know, but you're stirring the pot when you do that, Nancy, aren't you? Right? You're stirring your own pot, and you never have any ideas that somebody else who is sensitive, maybe even more sensitive to you, right? Somebody in a chair who's even more worried than you and doesn't have the information that you have, right? You could be online in your YouTube and having these discussions and voicing it and helping people feel a little bit better about it. You could, right? But I think you're making yourself a little bit frenzied. I know. I've been doing that myself, and I had to put a stop to it because I was beating myself up, right? I was running on that hamster wheel and there was no need for it, right? This is our life. We got to create the best life for us as we possibly can. And I think on dwelling on things that we have no control of, right? Stressing out over something that in the end is probably going to be spilt milk that you can't do anything about anyway. Then at that point, right? And even at this point, if you have to, you can prepare yourself should that happen. And in that preparedness, if it doesn't happen, look at all the resources you put together in anticipation that it would happen. Might be a couple of locomotives. Not at all. And it could be your intuition, Nancy. You could be seeing a lot more into this than anybody else, right? Right? I know lots of times that I'm certain about things, and it's hard to get people convinced as to what's going on or to believe in you. So it's not that I'm not trusting in what you're saying. I'm just saying don't worry in this moment because you're just going to make yourself ill from worrying about it right now, right? Enjoy what you have right now. Enjoy the little pleasures and the little presents that you give yourself in anticipation that if something, or somebody goes haywire, well, you got a locomotive that in one of my lives you're going to go like you usually, Sydney, I got to sell my layout. I got to sell my trains, right? And you'll do that for a couple of days, and then something else will come across your path, and you won't have to sell anything, right? You still have your layout. You still have your trains, right? And it's up and running even better than it was last year. You did such a good job, Nancy. It's absolutely, yeah, you amaze me in your creativity, but you amaze me in your determination, right? Right? But I wish you could be a little softer on yourself, not drive yourself a little bit crazy over things that you have no control over, right? If you want to go and hold your sign up and put groups together that might make you feel better, it might make other people feel better, right? But when you're just beating yourself down about it and worrying about it and stressing about it, I'd probably be working at solutions or working at resources for when it happened. And you're smart. You'll find something, Nancy. You guys, it's 10 to 1. I've just been yibber yabbering all night, but sometimes we need to do that. And sometimes I need to keep Nancy company because just as much as I go through that, Nancy goes through that, you go through that. Everybody has worries and stresses and has good days and has bad days, right? But it isn't amazing that you can come in and just feel comfortable and be yourself. And I want you to be that way, Nancy. I do. None of us like the negativity. We don't. But at the same time, we support each other, right? In the ups and the downs. That's what friends are for. And Nancy is definitely a friend. Oh, see, Nancy's got her plans all ready. She's going to move to Canada. Become the 51st state is how many states, Nancy? What state would we be? What number would we be? For Canada, what number of state would Canada be if we joined the United States? Like that ever happened. We would be the 51st state, Canada. Oh my goodness. Then what would be the most powerful state in the United States, Nancy? What state would have the most people? What state would have more cities? Higher populations in the cities? I think even if we joined the states, I think we would still be rocking it, Nancy. Right? I'm just gonna fly by my seat of my pants. I don't care where I am, right? Where I am in the moment is perfect. And if that should change, wherever I am in the next moment will have to be perfect, right? Just make do. We adapt to conquer, never give up. And I think that's a good place to end it for tonight. Get up in the morning and maybe have a half an hour before I run off to work. Like I said, I don't go live on Saturdays anymore. It's a day of putting the roof over my head and giving everything I can to my job, right? Showing them. I have no idea what I'm showing them. Showing them me. Showing them something that maybe that should be appreciated a little bit more. Right? We all like that appreciation. Some of us deserve it, some of us don't, right? And it's only in the eyes of the beholder that is going to recognize it, appreciate it, and voice it. And isn't that a gift when that happens? Yeah. Everybody, have a great night, and we will see you on Monday. And if you'd like to, come and hang out with us on Sunday Night Chatters Live. Hang out with the rest of our moderators there. Nancy of which is one of them, and she will be possibly with us, right? And she is amazing, along with all my other crew that come and hang out on Sunday nights. I don't know where I would be without them. I'd probably be here, but I'd probably be just talking to myself, wouldn't I? Okay, you guys, have a good night, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye. Night, Nancy. Thank you.